our look at the upcoming week in the binary options market for the week of September 14th. And in front of you, I have the economic calendar as you would anticipate. Pretty quiet on the Monday session. We have industrial production out of the EU. That's about it. Could move the stock markets in general, the CAC, the DAX, all the usuals, and perhaps the euro itself. The 15th, we have an interest rate decision out of Japan. No change expected, but pay attention to the statement. If the Bank of Japan starts to express concern about the inflated value of the yen, for example, that could have an effect on the /JPY currency pairs. We also have several announcements out of Great Britain on Tuesday, CPI and the various flavors of it, of course. The ZOO survey out of Germany, which will affect the DAX and the euro. And a little bit later on during the session, we have retail sales, industrial production out of the United States. That's a pretty big deal for the U.S. stock markets. As we roll into Wednesday, we have employment figures coming out of Great Britain. That, of course, is going to move the FTSE and the British pound. CPI out of the Eurozone. That will move the European stock markets. And then, as we continue through the 16th, Wednesday, we have a few minor numbers coming out of Japan. Could move the Nikkei more than anything else. Thursday has the Swiss interest rate decision coming out. It's a press conference. It's going to be more interesting, as recently their positions have been discovered shorting the Swiss franc again from time to time. So we'll have to see if they say anything specific about the currency headwinds and etc. with their economy that could move the Swiss franc itself. And as we go through Thursday, we have several mid-level announcements coming out of the United States, but really it's the Fed interest rate decision, and more importantly, it's a monetary policy statement that will come out after that that's going to really move the markets. We'll have to see if the Fed can actually do anything now. We have CPI coming out of Canada on Friday, which of course is going to be very important for the Canadian dollar. And then as we roll through the rest of Friday, we have several CPI flavors coming out of Canada to round out the week. And with that, let's take a look at some of the charts. You can see that the euro did rally against the US dollar during the week, but really what we're paying attention to on the longer term charts now is that it looks like we're trying to form some type of ascending triangle. If we can break above 115, that becomes very, very important and bullish. We become long-term buy and hold type traders for calls. We think this week's probably going to be slightly positive, but expect it to remain a bit tight until we get that Federal Reserve interest rate decision, or better yet, statement. If they say they're done after raising, that could be it. We could see the breakout at that point. Over in the WTI market, you can see that we had a very quiet week. This is probably going to come down to the Federal Reserve interest rate decision as well. If the US dollar gets pummeled after that, you could see the oil market spike much higher. With this, we are bullish eventually, but we think you have to break above 50 to have a longer-term buy and hold mentality as far as calls are concerned. Expect a bit of a drift lower initially in the week and then a bit of a return to upward movement. Gold market sold off, but we expect to see a support level at 1080 that should turn this market back around. If we break below 1080, then of course that's very negative. Again, we think this will have to do with the interest rate decision, so we expect weakness at first and then perhaps a rally if they show weakness in the decision. If they show that there are more interest rate hikes coming, this could kill off gold as we would race towards 1,000 at that point. With that, we've taken a look at the upcoming week of September 14th in the binary options markets.